Hey everyone, and welcome. A common problem players have is they acquire a lead on the enemy jungler, but then fail to have opportunities to push this lead through their lanes. In this video, you'll learn how to use your lead to shut down the enemy jungler instead of having to rely on your lanes to snowball your advantage. We'll be teaching you this using the replay of the Korean professional jungler SKT Clid playing Lee Sin against Evelynn. Alright, let's get straight into it. Clid must be a fan of pizza because he starts the game with a thick layer of cheese, executing a late 4-man invade on Evelynn's red buff, which not only results in her using flash, but also dying and losing her red buff. Now some of you are probably thinking that a coordinated invade isn't something you could achieve in your own games, and that's completely understandable. The main advantage that Lee Sin has obtained through this is an experience lead and the fact that Evelynn has used flash. These are two advantages you can achieve early on through many different means, such as successfully counter-ganking the enemy jungler, killing them at a fight over a scuttle, executing an invade of your own, or the enemy jungler simply failing a gank and getting it turned on them. The point is, the strategy we're going to cover is not reliant on you having to do a 4-man invade. There are many ways you can get an early advantage. Put yourself in this Lee Sin's position. Would you be able to follow this up and completely destroy the Evelynn, or would you find yourself fizzling out towards the mid game with Evelynn catching back up? Let's find out for ourselves by testing your knowledge. With Evelynn dead and having just finished stealing her red buff, what would you do next? We could secure the nearby scuttle, wait and gank the enemy bot when they enter lane, or steal Evelynn's raptor camp. Let's look at the first two options, securing the nearby scuttle or ganking bot lane. Both of these choices are incorrect, and here's why. The first step to shutting down an enemy jungler is tracking them, knowing where they're going next. In this position, it makes no sense for Evelynn to move towards the bot side of the map since she knows Lee Sin stole her red. Instead, it makes much more sense for her to move straight to her blue buff to secure it and farm that side of the map. This means she won't be going for the bot side scuttle anytime soon, so there's no need to secure it immediately. What about the gank bot? Well, since Evelynn will be taking her blue, she can easily move to steal our red if she sees us bot. This would nullify the lead we got from stealing her red in the first place. By stealing the raptors, we not only set her further behind, but we also keep ourselves in position to move and pressure the other side of the map. Notice how Clid leaves a few of the small raptors up. Usually, you'd want to leave only one small raptor up in order to delay the camp's respawn. That being said, Clid doesn't want to waste too much time on this side of the map and let Evelynn catch back up on the other side. He then executes a transition gank on mid. I want you to pay attention to how he soaks 3 minions of experience while doing this. With the recent nerfs to jungle XP, finding ways to soak lane experience, especially in the early game, is becoming increasingly more important. Don't be afraid to do this yourself, as you don't set your laners that far behind compared to how much of a lead you can get. Great, now that Lee Sin is on this side of the map, he has two options. He can take the nearby scuttle, or invade Evelynn at her blue. Which would you choose? The correct choice is to take the nearby scuttle. This is because we can't get to Evelynn's blue before she would be able to secure it. This makes sense considering we spent a lot of time killing her red, stealing her raptors, and moving through mid lane. At the same time, with those 3 minions of experience we soaked mid lane, we can hit level 3 off of the scuttle. This gives us a level advantage on Evelynn while providing an escape path via the speed boost that it leaves behind. This is the green light to invade Evelynn and start shutting her down. However, Evelynn makes a heads up play by smiting the wolf to gain health back and barely survives. Lee Sin is still able to get an advantage though by stealing the wolves, making sure to leave the small wolf up to delay the respawn of the camp. This is 2 camps, the raptors and wolves, that Evelynn will have a delayed respawn on. Clid now has 2 choices to pick from. He can farm his topside jungle or move to secure the bot side scuttle. Which do you think he should choose? The correct choice is to secure the bot side scuttle. Remember, a key part of shutting down the enemy jungler is knowing where they're going to next. We just pushed Evelynn out of her topside jungle. It makes sense for her to head to her bot side jungle next to farm her raptors and krugs. If we decide to farm our topside jungle, then it leaves both the bot side scuttle as well as our blue buff open to be invaded. This would allow Evelynn to get back into the game. Additionally, we have that powerful transition gank through mid on an overextended Aatrox. We know there's no risk of a counter gank by Evelynn since she got so low on health and is only level 2. After the kill, pay attention to how Clid is going to soak additional minion experience. Even though the wave is pushing towards Riven and she wants to set up a freeze, Clid stays around for a few seconds to thin out the wave and get an additional 5 minions of experience. Again, this is really important in the current meta with recent XP nerfs to jungle camps. He then secures the bot side scuttle to deny it from Evelynn. Now this is a crucial moment in the game, so pay attention. Remember, we need to track the enemy jungler in order to shut them down. Since we pushed Evelynn off her wolves to the bot side of the map, at this point it's safe to assume that Evelynn is at her Krugs. Now, a timing all junglers should be aware of is that jungle camps respawn every 2 minutes and 30 seconds, except for buffs which respawn every 5 minutes. So let's go back to when Clid invaded Evelynn at her blue. Did you notice how her Gromp was dead? I promise you, Clid noticed. We know Evelynn just killed this Gromp, and we know that it will respawn in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. This means at around 5:20, Evelynn will be on this side of the map looking to take this camp. If we jump back to our current position, we can see it's only 3:40. We have almost 2 minutes before we should need to invade again. This gives us ample time to farm our own blue, Gromp, and wolves. As Lee Sin heads to his red, he sees Gnar low on health top lane and decides to move for a gank that unfortunately doesn't pay off. And it's here that Clid makes his first mistake of the game. He chooses to do Krugs instead of his red buff. Remember, Evelynn's Gromp is going to be respawning at around 5:20. By doing Krugs into his red, he misses this invade timing to deny the Gromp from Evelynn. Additionally, if we look at the minimap, we can see he has priority in both mid and top, so there isn't even a risk of him being collapsed on at the Gromp. He then does his best to correct this mistake. With Evelynn just finishing Gromp and Ryze overextended with a big wave, he needs to head top to protect Ryze from being ganked. Sure enough, he catches Evelynn, but unfortunately ends up making some uncharacterized misses with Lee Sin's Q. That ends up not mattering, as with a big wave built up and a level advantage on both Ryze and Lee Sin, they're easily able to get a kill and escape. I want to take a moment and go back to highlight how Evelynn is level 3 to Lee Sin's level 5. This was achieved by securing both scuttles, stealing both Evelynn's raptors and wolves while leaving small monsters up to delay the respawn, and soaking lane experience during his transition ganks through mid. That being said, Evelynn is now trying to use the experience from the minions top to get back into the game. Clid catches wind of this and looks to make a pick on Evelynn. At this point, he's now level 6 to Evelynn's level 4. With everything you've learned so far in this video, it should make his next decision very obvious. Evelynn's topside jungle has been cleared while her red and botside jungle are respawning. So he moves to invade it with his 2-level lead. However, his botside is in base and the enemy mid is missing. This is why he decides to peel off the enemy red buff. Even with Morgana landing a bind, it's not enough to stop Lee Sin from making quick work of the Evelynn. Afterwards, he moves to steal the enemy raptors and red buff. If we look at the minimap, what do you think Clid is going to do next? He's going straight for the enemy's blue side jungle since it just respawned. With the priority his top lane has, they're able to easily collapse on Evelynn and kill her again. Following this up with stealing her Gromp and blue. After recalling, Lee Sin heads back onto the map. Now, he knows Evelynn won't be topside as we just killed her there and stole her jungle. At the same time, her botside jungle has the camps that will be respawning first. In fact, if we go back to earlier when Lee Sin invaded her red, we could actually see that Evelynn had killed her Krugs. We know they will take 2 minutes and 30 seconds to respawn, so we should be looking for a possible invade around 9:30. If we jump back to our current position, we can see that's in 30 seconds. Additionally, our bot lane is really overextended. This makes our choice clear. Hover around bot lane to protect them from an Evelynn gank while looking to steal her Krugs when they respawn. Sure enough, he catches Evelynn, and at this point, the game is pretty much over. Alright, we went over a lot in this video, so let's quickly recap. Clid started the game getting an early lead through a late 4-man invade. He stole Evelynn's raptors, making sure to leave some small ones up to delay the respawn. He knew Evelynn would be topside to secure her blue buff. Because of this, he transition ganked mid to soak a few minions of experience and secure the topside scuttle. After this, he was level 3 and looked to invade with this advantage. Although he didn't kill Evelynn, he was able to steal the raptor camp and once again left a small monster up to delay the camp's respawn. He then made sure not to make the mistake of farming his topside jungle, which would have left the botside scuttle and his blue vulnerable to being taken. Instead, he transition ganked mid once again, securing a kill and additional minions for experience into taking the bot scuttle. After this, he knew that Evelynn had no camps to farm and was waiting on them to respawn, so he took this time to farm his own jungle. He then unfortunately mistimed an invade on Evelynn's Gromp, but made up for it by protecting his top laner as he pushed a big wave and was able to not only kill Gnar but also Evelynn after. With Lee Sin being level 6, he knew to invade the enemy's red side jungle since it had just respawned. Killing Evelynn and stealing her camps, he then rotated to her blue side jungle since that was now respawning, again getting a kill and stealing her camps. Knowing the enemy Krugs were spawning soon and that his bot lane was overextended, he moved bot to protect them with the intention of stealing the Krugs after. Alright, what do you think of this strategy? Let us know in the comment section below, as well as any questions you might have. As always, good luck and have fun on Summoner's Rift.